Hey, what's up, Love Life family? Standing here at Corona Del Mar in California with Pastor Jay Stewart, a friend and also a partnering pastor since 2016 from the beginning of Love Life, also a House of Refuge church. And we want to tell you guys all about a very exciting project, if you haven't heard about it already, called Life Ride. But I want to begin with you, Pastor Jay, talking about why we're here in Corona Del Mar in Pirates Cove in California.
Man, not an accident, Justin. I mean, it's the providential hand of God, I believe, that has us standing in this spot, because just 100 yards away is a place that back in 1970 really was significant in a revival, a move of God. Recently, a movie came out called The Jesus Revolution that really called attention to that revival and to this particular spot called Pirates Cove. That literally 100 yards away, where they were baptizing people in 1970. So I don't think it's an accident that that revival spread across the nation. And here we are in the same spot, all these years later, starting a movement that I believe is going to spread across the nation called Life Ride, building this culture of love and life.
That's right. Right here, so you can't see it, but right over on the other side of these rocks is Pirates Cove. It's also a place where many of the families that have made the choice for life have been baptized right here, right on the other side of these rocks. So why are we here? Not only because of the history, but this is also where Life Ride is kicking off May 4th, the National Day of Prayer. You're gonna dip your back wheels in the ocean and ride, all the way across America, 3,400 miles to Charleston, South Carolina. Is that right? Is that what we're doing?
That's exactly what
7
we're doing,
weeks.
man.
It's incredible, man. And at the age of 60, you're doing this, man. I honor you. I appreciate you for this commitment. And along the way, we have realized this is truly a God story. And I want to tell our people about that, because this is not just some cool idea or some neat project. The thing that makes me the most excited about this is that we know this is a God thing. It's a God thing. So
no doubt.
we want to tell a little bit of this story, because we want you to understand that this is a God story. He's the one that has connected these dots. Let me begin with how it first started on my end, and then you jump in.
Perfect.
So we had, this was back in May or April, or beginning of May, I think, when I first met with Sam. Sam is a local business leader in Charlotte, North Carolina.
In 2022.
That's right. And I'm sitting down with Sam, and he begins to tell me about a vision that God has put in his heart for Love Life to ride a bicycle across America and to use that bike ride as a catalyst to mobilize more pastors and mobilize the church. And honestly, in that meeting, I was like, man, I'm really not interested, because I'm not into bike riding. I've never thought about riding a bike across America. We're trying to launch all these new cities, and it just seemed like a lot of work and something that we weren't really interested in. But I said, man, we'll pray about it. We'll think about it. Sam was so excited, so definitely didn't want to just pour water on his fire. But then I get a text from you 2 weeks after that meeting, and you say, hey man, let's get together. And we get together May 17th of 2022.
That's right.
And we sit in your office. And what do you tell me?
I said, Justin, I've got this crazy idea, and I start telling you about the fact that 40 years ago, God put a dream in my heart to ride a bicycle across America. I was 20 years old at the time. I was in college. It was more like, man, that would be a fun, cool thing to do. It's a dream that never left my heart. And it grew stronger and stronger, and as I approached the age of 60, I really felt like God wanted me to do this, but not for me. He wanted me to do this for the kingdom. I began to really fast and pray and say, God, who do you want me to do this for? I had a lot of great causes and people and things that went through my mind, but Love Life just kept getting stronger and stronger, to the point I reached out to you and said, hey man, I need to meet with you and share something with you. So we sit down in my office, I lay this whole thing out. Justin, I've got this idea, man. I'm going to ride a bicycle. I'm going to turn 60, next year. And I remember saying to you, Justin, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to raise $1 million for somebody, and I think it could be Love Life. What do you think? And You're not saying a word, bro. You are just poker face, not saying anything, and I'm like, oh gosh, he thinks this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But your response was?
I started laughing. I sat there and I let you talk and tell the story, and then I started laughing.
Yeah.
Because I've never in my life ever had anybody talk to me about riding a bike across America. And within 2 weeks, two people who I love and trust and know who are men of prayer bring this vision to me. And at this point, then I know, okay, Lord, I'm listening, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
And at that moment, we knew this was a God thing.
It was clear.
And so we got together. You didn't even know Sam.
No.
Sam didn't even know you. And we got together, we began to brainstorm.
Yeah.
What could this look like? How could we pull this off? And that's how it began. And so I want you guys to understand, first and foremost, this was not just some worldly strategy. This is something that God orchestrated and designed, and we really believe is going to be a major catalyst to bring on more pastors like yourself to be House of Refuge churches. And we had a goal already before Life Ride started to reach 1,000 House of Refuge churches in 2023. We had no idea how we were going to do it, but the Lord did. And we believe that Life Ride is going to be that catalyst to rally pastors across the country to become a House of Refuge church. And for really quick, for those who don't know what a House of Refuge church is, it's a church that is bought all the way into building a culture of love and life within their church. And by communicating a message of life like you guys do, and many of our other partnering churches do, to help prevent abortions from happening within their church. Because a lot of people, when we don't talk about it from the pulpit, they're left kind of with this wondering, how is the church going to respond if I find myself in an unplanned pregnancy? So we equip the church with the message to share to the congregation to help prevent abortions from happening within the church. You might not realize this, but 4 out of 10 moms that have abortions were attending a local church regularly at the time of their abortion. So we have to prevent abortions within the church. It's not just outside of the church, and we can talk all about how the government needs to stop funding abortions, but really the church needs to stop funding the abortion industry. If we look at a million abortions a year in America, and we just do the math, if it's 4 out of 10 moms, and we're talking about 400,000 abortions a year that are coming out of the church, average cost of about $500 per abortion, that's $200 million a year that the church is putting towards the abortion industry. And so we want to come alongside the church. We don't say that to shame the church or condemn the church. We love the church, and we want to help equip the church, not only to know how to communicate a message to prevent abortions from happening within the church, but to have a plan in place so that when a mom comes to the church, from within the church or outside of the church is ready to respond to the need. So prevent abortions from happening within the church, protect the unborn within the community by helping mobilize that message through the congregation, into schools, into neighborhoods, into the workplace, but also provide healing for moms and dads that have had abortions in their past. That's what a House of Refuge church is. And we want to see 1,000 of these across the nation. It doesn't have to be in a Love Life city. That's one of the beautiful things about a House of Refuge church. It can be anywhere really around the world. And so Life Ride is going to serve as a catalyst to do that. Talk a little bit about along the ride, how you're going to be meeting with pastors along the way.
Yeah, I think one of the unique things about Life Ride, Justin, is it's not just anybody that's doing this. It's a pastor who has been aligned with you guys from day one. And it's a pastor whose church is a House of Refuge church. Let me tell this story real quick. Just a couple of weeks ago, I dedicated a little baby by the name of Gabriel. Last year on May the 5th, his mother went to an abortion clinic to abort that baby. There were sidewalk counselors there, and they said to her, you don't have to do this. They invited her to my church. She came to my church, she got saved. Our church rallied around her. That's what House of Refuge churches do. Rallied around her, threw her a baby shower, supported her, loved on her, and now that she's had the baby, she's raising that son in church. She's being discipled, and I dedicated that baby just a few weeks ago. So I get the privilege of traveling across America on a bicycle, meeting with pastors, talking about what it means to be a House of Refuge church, and saying to pastors, look, we can no longer remain silent on this.
Right.
We've got to be a voice for the voiceless. We've got to engage, and we've got to come alive on this thing of battling for the unborn, of fighting for these mothers, so that moms who find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy, rather than running to an abortion clinic, they're going to run to our churches.
That's it. That's it. And you guys have been living that out, not only for abortion vulnerable families, but also children that are in the foster care system.
Exactly.
Orphans that are not only in the womb, but orphans outside of the womb.
Yes.
You guys have been modeling that so well. And as a church that's living it out, we're just encouraging other churches to join us, saying that you could be a house of refuge in your community.
Yeah.
You could be that lighthouse where people run to your church instead of running to the abortion clinic.
Exactly.
And so we want to see 1,000 House of Refuge churches raised up as Life Ride continues across the country. But the second main goal is we want to raise $1 million. $1 million to support the 19 Love Life cities across the nation, but also fund future cities.
Right.
These cities, we have missionaries in these cities that are mobilizing pastors, like here in California. California is on fire right now, let me just tell you folks. God is doing an incredible thing here in California. We have missionaries up and down the state. We're covering 26 abortion centers right now in California, offering the hope of the gospel and the help of the local church every day that they're open. Mentors all up and down California, foster families, adoptive families. So you are helping fund missionaries in these cities that are mobilizing the church, which we believe is the greatest organism on the face of the planet. And so we want to raise $1 million to support these cities and also launch new cities. But the third thing that we believe Life Ride is doing, it's really a prophetic picture to the church. It's a prophetic picture in the sense that riding a bike across America is not easy.
Right.
It's a hard thing. It's uncomfortable, and it takes work. And it's also public. And I believe that that is a picture for the church to remind the church of who we are called to be. We're called to do hard things.
That's right.
We're called to do uncomfortable things. We're called to be public in our faith. And so it's a prophetic picture to remind the body of what we're called to be. And so anything else you just want to share about Life Ride to kind of fill the base in?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say about that, Justin, is the prophetic picture is so important. Because in the Christian journey, there are ups and downs.
That's right.
Over 3,400 miles, I'm going to have a lot of ups and downs. There are bad days in the Christian journey, or hard days. There are things that we face that are going to represent adversity and obstacles. I'm going to have that on the bike ride. It's all a parallel to what we face in our journey with the Lord. Nobody ever promised it was going to be easy, but we keep going. We keep pedaling, we keep moving forward, and that's what I believe God's calling the church to do right now. And the timing of Life Ride is so ordained by God. Roe versus Wade was overturned last year. We celebrate that. The battle did not end there.
That's right.
It really ramped up, went to new levels. So God put this together.
That's right. And so more importantly now than ever, as we have people that are running from states like Alabama, where abortion has become illegal, they're running to the Carolinas, they're running to New York City, they're running to California. So instead of them turning to those places, we would love to see them turn to House of Refuge churches across the nation. So as you're riding across America, you're going to be telling God's stories of what God is doing across the nation through ordinary Christians, ordinary believers that are laying their lives down, that are making sacrifices, through serving on sidewalks, mentoring and discipling families, fostering and adopting moms. You're going to hear stories of healing and restoration across the nation. And as we kick this thing off, we're going to have some families here that are going to gather here, right here where we're at today, that their children were saved from abortion because the church, the Christians were out there offering the hope of the gospel and the help of the local church. You're going to hear these amazing God stories all along the way. So we want you guys to follow along. LifeRideUSA.org. But also, we want you guys to get involved. You can give financially, you can pray, you also can join a Life Ride team. We have Life Ride teams in all the 19 cities across the nation, so you can actually ride locally as Pastor Jay is riding nationally, it's a great way for us to partner together, not only to support him, but for us to labor together in our city to see a culture of life change in our cities. Anything else you want to say to wrap it up?
No, let's make history together. Come on, get involved. LifeRideUSA.org.